I assume that's from Sherry or maybe for Brian.
That's Johnny.
Sorry, I got so excited. It's for you, Johnny. Well, first of all,
Oh.
hi. And secondly, what's your preference? Are you SoHo Johnny? Are you Johnny? Are you
SoHo
John?
Johnny. SoHo Johnny.
Johnny.
That's
Okay,
stuck
great.
with me like glue for many, many years. It stuck with me.
Perfect. Love it. Nice to meet you. And I was
Nice
talking
to
about
meet
you.
you.
I mean, Sherry and Brian, they always look great, but because I'm just now meeting you for the first time, I mean, and you look super snazzy. So
Well, thank you. You're looking fantastic yourself. Where are you from? Where do you hail from?
I am in Middle Tennessee right now, Nashville area. So I'm from a
Mhm.
small town about an hour away from there, and I started out kind of slow and was in the small town, and then a little bit bigger for university, and then got to Nashville, and then I just took off, and the world was my playground. So, but I'm back for now.
Just like that song from Journey, "Living in a Small Town World."
That's me, totally me.
And Sherry,
Hey,
anytime
Terry.
you're ready, we will give it over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Movie Reviews and More. Today's show, it's all about choosing love over fear. Our special guest is friend to the show. He is my hero, SoHo Johnny. He has created a Let Me Help Incorporated, which is there to help those during these uncertain times. It aims to help those devastated by COVID, bullying, and pancreatic cancer. For many of those illnesses, Johnny and all of us, we want you to know that you're never alone. There's always going to be someone there to lend an ear, to lend a hand. And that is what tomorrow night's sought after event is all about. You can find it on ITV. I apologize. You can find it on iConcert.tv. And there's going to be many guests, and it'll be a night of glamour, excitement, but it's also an evening of giving. Johnny, he's one of those men that, although he's extremely humble, you'll find today, that whenever he sees a problem, he's always just tirelessly finds to find a solution. And COVID, cancer, and bullying is just some of those things. So it is with my enthusiastic heart that we salute the great man that we have with us today. It's SoHo Johnny. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you
Yay!
so much for that wonderful and beautiful, beautiful invitation. And again, I always answer, as you said, it's definitely not about me. I am loving and enjoying the journey, and I am feeling so warm. It kind of, we're all going through stuff right now. Most of us, and we're through tough times more than normal because of the pandemic and all this stuff, politics, let's put it aside. But, I'm very grateful because of this experience of what I've been doing and what I've been involved with, because of the people that have surrounded me and the people that have propelled, not me, but this mission of just outreach for helping people in many different facets. And that to me, that's been a blessing and has enriched my life and continues to enrich my life. So for that, I am thankful. Okay, it's not about me, it's about we at all times. And that's the philosophy. I call this a mandate for humanity. As many of you know, and we've been on the show before, I myself, had suffered the loss of my mom, the COVID early this year, which really, really pushed me hard to take that foundation off the shelf. Let Me Help, Inc., and just get it cranking and going. Because listen, if one of us just puts a small ripple in the ocean, all put our finger in. If millions of us do it, it creates a tidal wave of good-heartedness and love and everything, which is so, so important in these trying times. So I got, again, the people around me, everybody on the show, Brian, you, Sherry, Jessica, and my champion, Andrew Cole, that's on with us now, my co-producer for the anti-bullying hashtag I Am No Joke section of the show. I mean, I want to thank everybody and thank you for that introduction.
Well, and as everybody knows, as we're about to close the year 2020, we've all had to adjust to a new normal. And for probably 80% of that has been heavily weighted to the negative. We've got illness, we've got social isolation or, distancing. But, perhaps reflecting on 2020, tomorrow night's event at beginning at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, it's time we all come together and join the winning team of Johnny, where we can decide to, you know what, let's take control. Let's beat this. Let's help those around us, because as donors, you know, we are going to be the heroes of this story. And thankfully, you know, for many of you business-minded people, it's a tax-deductible donation. So, you know, it's that time of season to start giving back. And, you know, there's no one I believe more in than Johnny. And this is one of those charities and one of those foundations that you see the man. You see who you're going to be. You know, we all work hard for our money, and it's tough right now. But, you know, he is a man of you know, substance, and everything that he's done, he's succeeded in. And I, you know, if you don't take it from myself, take it from Jessica, who will be performing at the event. You know, we're just very excited, and there is a lot of competition to be a part of this. So I know it's something that we'll all enjoy together as a family, and it's going to be the first of many. So let's all say that, you know, we're at the inaugural event together.
And I love the fact that you just referenced it as a family, okay? People such as John Valesco, Eileen Shapiro, you know, Jimmy Starr, you know, people surrounding me, my Andrew Cole, who's on with us right now, and all of you, and all the publicity, and the artists that are allowing footage or doing shouts out or doing a mini performance. You know, they're just volunteering it just to push the tidal wave of love out there, you know, and the outreach. I mean, and the list goes on. So again, just a little bit of information. It's tomorrow night, 2 nights before Thanksgiving, a time of being thanks. I know that sounds odd to some people because of what we're going through, but remember, there's people less fortunate than us at any given time. We need to keep our eye on the ball and continue that appreciation, because that positive mindset is contagious and will get us through the toughest of times. It's on iconcert.tv. You could go on to Let Me Help Inc., all one word, INC at the end.org, of course, and get onto the link as well. And please donate whatever, you know, if the fans of all these artists that are on there donated a little bit, it would be very, very successful. Okay. The mandates are anti-bullying. My co-producer, Andrew Cole, hashtag I am no joke. As you said, cancer and COVID. I think we have COVID with Meals on Wheels, what they're doing to feed people that are sick, COVID related. They have a program. And that's the difference with a foundation. A foundation can give to multi-charities. A charity is just pigeonholed to one thing, like American Cancer Society can only do for cancer, which is why I chose that, because, you know, I've done things for Humane Society in the past. But, you know, it's a lot of excitement. A lot goes into putting a show like this together. We just had a shakeout call, and there's last minute things. And, you know, I'm that type A personality. I can't help myself when I get my brain farts, and I want to try to make sure everything goes right. But, you know, it's important that we all enjoy the journey, okay? And remember that we're role models to each other. No matter what we look like, what we have or don't have, there's somebody out there that you can make an impression on.
Well, and Johnny, and the essence is the dis-ease that is created. So, you know, it's again, something to look forward to. It's going to be fun. And many of the friends to our show will be on this event. Kenny Olson, Kenny Aronoff. There's going to be Ozzy Osbourne, Sharon Osbourne, and my favorite, Susie Quattro, Leather Tuscadero from Happy Days. She'll be making an appearance. So there's many, many guests, and you know, it's something for everybody. It's not one demographic. It's not one type of entertainment. It's going to be something, you know, just have it in the background, but something really fun that we can all talk about at Thanksgiving.
This is a trumpet for around the world. That's right. That's why I say Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. New York Eastern Standard Time, which of course is different time zones, because these artists are coming from all around the world, different genres of music or entertainment or acting, all coming together as a confluence for this event.
And Jessica, she gets
It's good to
for us. So many of you will be excited that a familiar face will be on your screen, because you get to hear her beautiful voice again.
Oh yeah, thanks. It was really, well, first of all, I was just so grateful when I found out that I would be able to be a part of this. And it was just, I got so excited I didn't know what to do with myself. And so because like you said, it takes such a long time to get this stuff together. It's not just magic. I mean, there are so many small, very detailed technical things that go on behind the scenes to make it look like it was effortless, right? That's how it works. So so all of these clips and videos and all these things, they're needed, in advance. So as soon as I found out about it, I was on top of it. I learned a brand new song that I didn't even know, and I figured it out in about less than 24 hours, and put it on tape, and recorded it first, then put it on tape the next day, and sent it off so that you'd have it in time to get it all situated. But I was just so happy, and I tried to pick a song that I thought, like you said, it's just been so negative, and not even just negative, but it's almost like we're also we're fighting. There's a lot of us who are fighting that negativity, and we're trying, and we're like, knock us down, we're going to get back up again, let's keep going. So I wanted it to be not sad, but not like happy days and jumping around, with your hands up in the air. So it was more of an inspirational song choice. It is new though, it's an original by one of my very talented friends, a fellow musician, singer, songwriter. So I'm hoping you all will like it. But Johnny, I was curious, will you be blessing us with your talent as well? Aren't you a singer or an actor? Or
I am. I haven't done anything for this particular show. I've just been so tied up with other things. Probably the next show I'll do that. I'm just hosting intermittently throughout the evening, and probably going to do a special intro, which I'll probably be working on later on today. But yes, I have a few releases coming out, and a lot of doors open for my career and just doing all this stuff. So I've got some exciting stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on at SoHo Johnny Camp. I encourage everybody, go to sohojohnny.com, SoHoJohnny.com. Sign up for our email list there, okay? Because there's many different moving parts here of what we're doing for aspiring artists that are coming up. We did a deal with my friend and my other champion, Maurice Hamilton, the SMC Group, to connect aspiring artists with multinational corporations. And actually, we have a call about that today. And something to do with Broadway in Manhattan to help the educational budget for kids in New York City. A lot of philanthropy. I mean, there's a place for business and all this. Of course, business is important. Money is the tools by which we survive. But, we try to always keep some element of philanthropy in everything that we do, because I think it's so important. And again,
Well, and-
Jessica, thank you for your contribution, your originality here, and your love. Thank you so much.
my absolute pleasure. Thank you again for the opportunity. I'm thankful that I'm able to do something to help others, even though you're in New York and I'm in Tennessee and Sherry's in Canada and Brian's in California. I mean, wherever, it's like we're spread out, and yet family. It's family together as one to support and help.
Thank you. And that's one important point you just touched upon, because that is what also I'm seeing with everybody out there, is that the dark cloud of this pandemic has also stimulated the good faith and love inside so many people, and outreach and appreciating life and not taking things for granted anymore. We become complacent, and I say this all the time, not in a selfish way. We just get used to a certain way of life. Just the simple things like we all laugh about getting toilet paper and the supply chain breaking down, which is what happened with the pandemic at the supermarket, but nothing's perfect. I mean, we don't, nothing's perfect in life. It's not supposed to be perfect in this life. I mean, I don't get into religion, but my mandate for humanity, I call for mandate humanity, is just common sense ethics, even for someone that doesn't have religion. It's just humanity. It's about outreach and bringing it together.
And I got to say, Andrew Cole, if he's still there, Jessica and Sherry might not be able to see you, but he is there.
No, I'm here.
So
I'm here.
I'm
doing jobs. I'm doing jobs, mate. To be honest with you, I've only got a few minutes. If I look like this, it's because I haven't been to bed in like 2 days. I didn't go to bed last night. I was on the phone to the UK. In about 40 minutes, I'm going live to London with Beverly Knight on split screen and Instagram live via her Instagram page, which is @Beverly Knight. And so that just came in, and I don't know if we're supposed to, well, I mean, I've just jumped into the conversation telling you half asleep, like completely delirious. Look at my eyes, isn't that crazy? But anyway, this is how much you don't want to get bullied, because then you stay up for days on end trying to fix the problem. But Beverly Knight's one of the greatest singers of all time. And obviously, she's on tour with Andrea Bocelli, and she's very graciously said that, she'll do an Instagram live. It's about 8:30 in London, England over there. And so after this, if everyone goes on Instagram live, whoever's, well, this is not live, so why am I even telling you? I just realized that's how tired I am. But yeah, that's good. This is the nature of the project. It's a crazy, crazy vacation. Griswold's vacations are changing the world. And, you know, SoHo Johnny has been amazing. And I love the way you talk, mate. I think it's brilliant and it's very inspirational. And, you know, I couldn't ask for a better co-producer. I mean, it's really your show. I just kind of came on and went nuts with as much as I could do and try and work around the clock to get, you know, some of these icons to tell their story. And since then, we've all just come together as a family, and it's just been non-stop, and it's not going to stop until showtime.
Well, I think
Hi, Andrew. By the way,
Andrew,
I can finally see you. So hello, nice.
Hello.
Sorry, you're on another screen. Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, nice to see you.
So what happened was
Andrew,
Andrew was in the studio last week and he just popped in and he was telling a great story. Victoria, Renee Rahan was in there. DJ Badass was in there. Scott Page was in there, and it was a very good show. And Andrew, I really got to thank you for coming into the studio because your story, what you told on that was really compelling. And I'm just honored. And I just like the fact that we all get along. I like the fact that everybody's sharing the flyer for that. Even my friends outside the US are sharing the flyer. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. I don't know how big this is, but you just know it's huge. So again, Johnny, hats off to you because it's tough putting these things on.
it is tough, but you know, Andrew Cole is very, very humble in what he just said. He's been a tireless avenger, okay, in what he does in sleepless nights or whatever, and making sure he gets everything right. So, you know, it's that type of commitment. You know, John Valesco, who's the conductor here and trying to make things right. And as I said, you know, it's these people around you. You know, it's just not me. It's all about the team. I'm just one cog in the machine. You know, we all have a focus, a common goal to try to make a little bit of a difference. And by banding together, if we could be an inspiration for everyone out there, please donate to this charity. It's a free charity. These artists and everyone that's been involved have given of their time and their hard work to produce a light in the tunnel tomorrow, right before Thanksgiving, for us to see. There's no obligation. It's free. Okay. But please donate at letmehelpinc.org. You can just donate right there on the show. There'll be something as well. But, you know, it's all about listen, money is the tool by which we get things done because that's our system. Okay. But, you know, or any suggestions, info at letmehelpinc.org, all one word. Or you could just send for our SoHo Johnny platform, john@sohojohnny.com. You know, we're always open to comments or suggestions as to what's out there just to, you know, just to go forward in a more enlightened way.
Obviously, there's going to be many long-term benefits of this event, and many are calling it the event of 2020. So, but for many parents, you know, the aspect of bullying, you know, we've had many guests on the show, Kenny Aronoff recently, who said that when he was a young man, a little boy, actually, he had seen the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. And so it was that event that inspired him to become a drummer. So with the eclectic group of entertainment that you will be seeing, you never know, you know, you might bring your child out of their shell, you might put them on a new path towards inspiration and ambition. And so, you know, again, you know, there's a long-term aspect for this on a personal level for many out there. So there's just so many positives to come out that, you know, I know that it'll be worth your while, and it's just something, you know, to positively speak about with your family over Thanksgiving.
I think I'll defer to Andrew about the anti-bullying. A couple of the artists that he's been dealing with that have bared their soul for their own personal experiences here. And you'd be surprised. Bullying is something that, you know, I think some of the public takes for granted as like it's not that much of a big thing, but it's part of the suicide rate. It imprints upon the youth, okay, in school, and it affects them for their future development into adulthood. And even in our adult lives or anything, look at the entertainment business. There's a lot of bullying. You know, it's just it's a psychology. It's a healthy psychology. I've always been a proponent, and that's one of the things I'm thinking of doing something about for a common education system. Besides math, science, and English in grammar school, they should have like another class just being in a healthy relationship. these kids may not always have the best background at home background or what's going on there. There may be, dysfunctional families. Not that any family's perfect, but I think, just relationship, just a course about just being in a healthy relationship and ethics and mutual respect is very important to have out there.
Yeah, man, I agree. It's really cool that you said that about Kenny. I grew up in Liverpool, so I only had the Beatles as nursery rhymes. I didn't have normal songs like normal people, which wasn't a problem for me because I love the Beatles. But Kenny is my drummer. Kenny plays drums on all my songs, and I didn't even know he was on this show till I saw the poster. So it's a small world of love. Everyone's got together, and all you need is love, as they say, and that's true. Really, you just need kindness, and it's surprising. I think the problem with bullying is that if you're really good at it, it works, right? And people use it to their advantage because it works. It only works for so long, but it does work. And I think kindness works better though. It's way more powerful. It doesn't stay with you. It doesn't damage people. And you get a lot more if you're just kind, and it feels better. I think unless you're chemically imbalanced. I think as humans we're not born bullies. We learn it, and I think when you remember yourself as I always refer to myself when I'm scared or in a tough situation, or I refer to myself as like little Andrew. You have to think, you talk to yourself as a little child and say, what's hurting you, what you feel like. Because we're kind of like grown babies and we still get hurt by stuff. And people think when you become an adult that bullying goes away, but it follows you in two different ways. I mean, it follows you in the workplace, it follows you in everyday society, but also the scars that you've developed in the past can follow you and really mold you into being something not as beautiful as maybe you could be if you didn't have that. So I really empathize. I sympathize with people that, like myself, that have these scar tissues, and it does affect your life. So I think relearning, the cognitive process, relearning this and listening more to this is really it's very important, and it's very difficult to do when you've had your tail pulled, like a dog, really. You've seen vicious dogs, it's all about the owner sometimes. So I think it's really cool that we've got the whole world coming together, actors, singers, sports people, the man on the train. It doesn't matter who you are, everyone's got a story, everyone's human, we're all human. So I think it declined. Oh, someone's phone. This phone's not stopped. So if I keep going, it's because the whole world's phoning. Because SoHo Johnny invented this insane idea to bring the whole world together, and John Velasco and Eileen Shapiro and the whole team. I mean, it's really touching to see that it's reached as far as Barcelona. As far as London, England, Liverpool, Manchester, New Jersey, like everywhere. I'm in LA. I'm in a little shack in Malibu by the beach with hardly any Wi-Fi, and I've been driving around grabbing guitars from Fender Factory and Slash's hat and stuff like that, and just crazy things like these escapades that I'm on. And then I'm like, oh no, I've forgotten to have a cup of tea or a biscuit. I haven't even had anything to eat. So now I've got bits of biscuit in my mouth and people are phoning me, and then it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's like it's round the clock, and it's so exhilarating because why were comic books invented? Why are comic books and those kind of like Marvel movies the biggest box office selling movies of all time? How do they make $300 million? Because everyone wants to be a superhero. And the thing is it feels good to do that. And you can be. Every human being on earth can pretend to be Batman or Superwoman in your little ways, just little ways that you do it, and it just makes you feel good. And even if you're looking at the woman in the supermarket when you're getting your loaf of bread, and if she looks like she's having a bit of a hard day, you can try and make her laugh. I always killed things with humor because I had no choice. I used to have to make my dad laugh. Otherwise, it was my way of trying to stop him from knocking my mum around, I mean, my biggest bully was my dad. And so everyone's got their own story. It could be your husband that's your biggest bully, and now it's COVID and you're stuck with the bugger. And you can't get out the house and you're scared of him. There's so many it's Mental Health Awareness Month, but it should be Mental Health Awareness Year. of course. I know we've got to celebrate a date or a month. But see, that's Beverly Knight and Kathleen Cochran calling me right now, trying to get through. And what can you do? I mean, it's better the phone's ringing than not ringing, right? So that's your
Well, I like
fault.
the fact, Andrew and Johnny and Sherry and Jessica, I like the fact that this could be a yearly event and it will get bigger and better. This is what I like about this. When Andrew came into the studio, I didn't know who Andrew was. He didn't know who I was. He came in, I had to give him a mask, put him on the show really quickly. He had a therapy session.
Hang on.
He was bewildered, but he came out better. And I didn't know who he was. He didn't, but he had a good time and he got a chance to tell his story. And it was like therapy. And I was relieved because I could see it was like he could take a deep breath.
I think Andrew just had to take that call because it was probably one of the performers and one of the celebrities. But just shout out to Andrew for, I don't know if you can still hear us, but for sharing your personal story there. When I was a kid, I used to stutter as a kid in grammar school. And I was brought up in the boogie down Bronx back in the day in the 60s. And, I would get a whooping once in a while myself from the class or the bullies in the neighborhood. But that was just the way it was back then. But of course, that's just human nature in any different walk of life. Luckily, I had a good foundation at home. My dad was a hardworking guy in the trucking business. And I got my sense of humility and humanity from him, I always say. And I always credit my mom, my late mom, with my sense of entertainment, okay? Because she always has music on in the house, and she used to go out, something like the Rockettes and dance, whatever, and she was almost so into that. She would have went a lot further if it was a different time under different circumstances. And both my parents were completely, not because they're my parents, but they were completely radiant as a couple together. They were so magical together when they would just go out and dance and everything. Of course, a little bit more when I was really young, but I just remember that, and I think that's part of what resonated with me. But how many people out there or kids didn't have that structure at home? Okay, my family wasn't perfect; they had issues. Sometimes I laugh about my parents. They were together, I don't know how many years, 40 years, maybe they spoke 30 of them. I don't know, but it is what it is. And at least I had parents. At least I had. There's no perfect role model, but at least I had role models with a lot of the main principles in place. So I think that anti-bullying is something that should be thought about a lot more seriously than some of the public does. Cancer, of course, we always have to keep the mantle and the vigil going for cancer, because there's strides that are being made for different forms of cancer and research, and we're getting there slowly but surely. It's a long haul. It's the most mystical because biologically, it's just almost like the cancer cells think that they're alive or just thriving, just like our cells. But I believe that we're going to get there. And COVID, as we all know, the good news is around the corner. The vaccines are out there. They're just about going to be legalized. And by next year, they'll be mass distributed. Of course, there's always a risk because they're very novel vaccines. But I believe 95% efficacy rate I'm hearing. So there's a lot of good news. There's a lot of great news to look forward to for 2021. Entertainment for all of us and everyone in that field. The rubber band has been stretched so far. People starving for entertainment, not being able to go out to a restaurant and see a show because you can't go to Madison Square Garden because you're sitting next to 1,000 people in the same room, one right next, a foot away from each other on the next seat, right? There's such a starvation for that, myself included. I can't wait to go to a show. I used to be, I'd be backstage all the time. That's just part of what I do. But there's going to be a major, major push here. And, I think what happened virtually to the industry was happening organically anyhow. This just kind of catapulted us into different things. So we're working on an experiential thing, part virtual, part live, that we're going to be introducing very soon on the SoHo Johnny platform to, kind of tying into a lot of what we're talking about. So again, I encourage people, sign up for SoHoJohnny.com. We've got a lot of great stuff out there in the entertainment world, and I'm very excited about it. But again, this is, we're here to talk about Let Me Help, Inc. or letmehelpinc.org, where people can donate. And I think we should probably mention a lot of the artists here. Who's got a list here? I got a list here, but just the list goes on and on. And even I don't know what the final product is here, because people, it's funny. You get a call, And, we don't want to disappoint. That's part of what we're working out now in this last call. We don't want to disappoint, but we have too many artists that have come forward here. And we went from a 4 hour to a 6 hour show. We could have done something at the rate we were going to, something like the late, great, wonderful soul he was, Jerry Lewis Telethon, which I kind of make an analogy
Wow.
for myself, because how cool would that be for us to remember that Jerry Lewis Telethon, what he did? I think,
Yeah,
was it for cerebral palsy and everything? I remember that as a kid.
I
I don't
do.
know, it was 48 hours. You'd call in at 4 o'clock in the morning. Frank Sinatra could show up unexpectedly and do a performance to support the cause. I mean, I would love to be part of that. So that's something, like you said, Brian, is in the works here as this completely morphs and it evolves to what we're doing here. So yes, I hope this is the beginning of something great for humanity, and for outreach and for giving in certain ways that's going to hopefully make a difference, because the more people, the more we do. And there's many great causes out there, but just to be part of one personally is such a wonderful experience for all of us, isn't it?
Well, we got about 5 minutes, but when you think of Sir Patrick Stewart and Sha Na Na, come on, and 10 years after, I think that's great because I do see it as a yearly event. I do see this same date going with, and what perfect thing, because for the last 5 years, I've always spent Thanksgiving by myself, the holidays by myself. The reason why I did that, it gave me a chance to just appreciate my friends, because I was always working, and I'll be working this year, but that's the time I call everybody, because I'm always calling and checking on them. They might get tired of it, but I really am checking to see how they're doing.
I think that's wonderful, and I try to do the same thing. But let me just take a minute, because we're towards the end here. I'm just mentioning there's footage that we've had permission for, or outreach, or just a performance. Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne, C.C. Peniston, Henry Rollins, Jeff Goldblum, John Lodge from the Moody Blues. He did such a great cut for us. Jasmine Cara, Kim Sledge, my friends from Sister Sledge. Susie Quattro, we mentioned, the immediate family. Scott Page, my buddy from Pink Floyd. Kenny Lee Lewis, Natalie Shea, Julian Lennon, Cedric the Entertainer, Fred Schneider from the B-52s. I love Fred. Leon Robinson, Will Fredson, Kenny Olson from originally from Kid Rock, Sadie Katz, Martha Davis, Ken Knox, Berdine White, Kenny Aronoff, as we said, Laureen Landon. 10 years after, Stephen Perkins, we know him from Jane Addiction. He's with Think EXP with Scott Page. Bonfire, of course, on now. Rick Wakeman, my God, I used to play that record until it worn out. The Journey to the Center of the Earth, what a masterpiece. Sari Shore, Leland Sklar, John Robb, Howard Bloom, unbelievable career and publicist. Martha Davison, Revolution, Fred Abatelli, a lot of my friends here. Mickey Burns, fabulous talk show host. Slash, Charlie Sheen, I understand we may have something that just came in. Of course, Screaming Rachel, of course, our part of our family here, Jimmy Starr, Ron Russell, and Ike Cavelli, and people such as you, Brian, and Jessica, and Sherry Nelson. I mean, Rachel Lauren. I mean, Tim Moss. I mean, I could just go on and on. There's a few others that I'm sure I missed. And because again, it's been adapting, reason up until the last day. I try not to miss everybody because I want to make sure everybody gets a shout out there. And I just want to shout out to all the artists that have been allowed this to happen, because without them, this wouldn't exist. So again, whoever's listening, please find it within your heart. I know these are trying times, but it doesn't matter if it's a small amount of money or anything. Try to find it in your heart and help people that are less fortunate than us. That's the bottom line. That's on my SoHoJohnny.com site. Every day is a blessing and a gift from day one. Okay. I created a quote: the breath of love is spoken in the language of musical expression, because music and entertainment is the tie that binds us all. There's no diversity. There's no politics. There's something that can bring us together. Let's leave that outside the door. In the house of SoHo Johnny, come on inside, take your shoes off, and just relax. Be who you are. We don't care who you are, what you believe in, as long as it's something that's good, that nobody else gets hurt. And it doesn't matter what you look like, what you have. Just chill out, hang out, and enjoy the ride. And let's smile at each other. And the music, again, let's use mediums such as music. Music is a companion throughout our lives that takes us to the end of our lives. And there's a companion that makes it a little bit easier, a little bit better. And it's a form of beauty. It's a form of expression. It's a form of turning yourself inside out from difficulties that we have in life through the expression of music and entertainment.
And with that, we got to thank SoHo Johnny Pasquale. We have to obviously leave Sherry Nelson out of Canada. I wish she was here. And obviously Jessica, I'm out of Tennessee. And this is the reason why I say, if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours, because it's set up because of events just like this. I'm Brian Sebastian. We will see you next week, and check on to the show, sohojohnny.com.